So I did have my first official video request today, and with the upcoming events this week in Raid Shadow Legends, doing this spotlight now makes perfect sense. So let's do this! Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hollywood here with a Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you're all having a great weekend and wishing you all a fantastic week ahead. On today's video, we're going to be doing a spotlight on April O'Neil, who is one of the featured characters in the TMNT collaboration with Raid Shadow Legends. So if we go over to the tournaments area here, if we scroll down a little bit here, we'll see that this champion training tournament is now over and I've won something here. So let's go pick this up and see what this is. Well, look at that. I've won first place. Good stuff. All right, so here we go. Hollywood HGN in first place with 13,787 points. And part of this tournament win, this champion training event, was actually booking out April O'Neil. I put all the legendary books on her. So she's all booked out now and she's ready to showcase. So what we'll do is we'll get the masteries put on her as well, and we'll try her out in arena and do some other things with April to see what this champion is like. So before we head over to the character window, we can see here in our events calendar there's a Gear Ascension tournament starting in 16 hours. Now we can see one of the prizes here is Prism Shards, and usually that gives us one Prism pull for the Prism event. And this week's showcase, or this week's featured character for the Prism event is April O'Neil. So I'm curious myself to see what this character can do. So let's give it a shot and see what happens here. So if we go over to our champions section here, this is how I have April built out right now. Currently I have her in a Feral and Pinpoint set. 4-piece Feral and 5-piece Pinpoint. They will help April have some resilience in arena against enemies who are trying to shut her down. So the relic I have on her right now is the Orb of Transfixion. It's just a random relic I had lying around and I thought it would be alright for her. Gives her some extra HP and some extra accuracy. Wearer has a 10% chance to steal one random buff when attacking a target. This effect cannot be resisted, occurs once per skill. And I put these gems in this relic. The wearer's accuracy increases by 5 whenever an enemy resists a debuff placed by the wearer, and she casts a lot of debuffs on the enemy. Stacks up to 40. Turn meter increase effects are 10% more effective on the wearer, so that'll help her with her speed. I have her skills maxed out right now. I did put a polymorph blessing on her. Brimstone and temporal chains would be something else you could also put on her for arena. Brimstone would work good against enemies in PvE and bosses. She does have a great speed aura, which would make her a good speed lead in arena. Now I have her at 242 speed, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. I don't have a lot of champions that are in like the 300 or 400 for speed, so I typically have to build a go second team when I'm doing arena. So I have to kind of keep that in mind, and I have to kind of build my characters out tanky and with some resilience so they can take a hit or two against the enemy. With her stats here, I have 58,000 HP, I have her on 2600 defense, 242 speed, and I got a 381 accuracy on her right now. That could be even a little better, but once we start upgrading some of this gear, that'll get better as well. For her masteries, this is what I decided to go with for her masteries. I went with a defense and support tree. So there are a few builds out here. This is kind of a mix of a couple of different builds that are out there. One of the biggest differences I have on this build is I have this on here right now, Harvest Despair, which has a 60% chance of placing a leech debuff for 1 turn when placing stun, sleep, fear, true fear, freeze, petrification. And April does cast a lot of that with her A1 here. Her A1 has a 50% chance of placing a stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, or petrification on the target for 1 turn. So it seems like that one skill in the mastery is just made for April. Then places a perfect veil on this champion for 2 turns. Her A2 has a 75% chance of stealing all buffs from the target. Also has a 75% chance of stealing 100% of the target's current turn meter. Then has a 75% chance of placing a nullify debuff and a seal debuff on the target for 2 turns. Those are new debuffs, and I'll go into what those are in just a minute here. She has a passive effect, has a 25% chance of activating the Explosion Scoop skill on an enemy when they gain an extra turn or instant turn effect. So this can work well against mythic champions, or it should work well against mythic champions, so we'll see how that works in arena. If there are multiple champions in the team with this skill, only one will activate. Her A3 places an increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns, so that's very good if you are trying to take on certain enemies or certain bosses. Also decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 20%, then grants an extra turn. Her passive is a bit of a book. Passive effect: decreases all enemies' turn meters by 10% whenever an enemy has their skill activated, teams up with allies to attack, gains an extra turn or instant turn. So this is something that would work well on mythicals, one would think. Has their skill cooldowns decreased, get their shield value increased, gets their destroyed HP restored, has their HP swapped by allies or by themselves. So there's quite a few characters that these skills would work well against. Evades an enemy or effect skill, has their turn meter equalized or their HP balanced from a skill, occurs once per skill. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. Her active effect: whenever enemies remove, transfer, or decrease the duration of any debuff to 0, decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 25%. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. Again, she has a fantastic speed aura in arena, 28%, so you can definitely build her as your speed lead. I put a polymorph blessing on her. You could also put temporal chains on her or brimstone. Those would be other popular blessings to put on her. Now we wanted to get back into this nullify and seal debuff. What those do: nullify. Champions under the nullify defect cannot have their skills activated, participate in ally attacks, be granted an extra turn or instant turn. So that would work well on mythicals, or supposed to work well on mythicals. Have their skills cooldown decreased, have their shield value increased, have their destroyed HP restored, have their HP swapped by allies or by themselves, evade enemy effects or skills, have their turn meter equalized or their HP balanced. So that's the new nullify effect. 2 versions of seal, it looks like. There are 2 versions of this debuff, Seal and Master Seal. The Seal debuff blocks effects from gear sets and masteries, except stat boosts granted by artifacts and accessories, as well as masteries that only boost stats like Blade, Disciple, Flawless Execution, etc. Master Seal is an enhanced version of this debuff, which is additionally blocks the effects from blessings except stat boosts. The Seal and Master Seal debuffs don't block effects that were activated before these debuffs were placed. So those are a couple of interesting new debuffs, and it should make this character very interesting to use. So we'll go ahead and try and use this character in Arena, and we'll see what she can do. So getting back to the masteries here, I'll just click on the masteries section, and I will explain a few of my choices that I use for masteries, because some of them are different than some of the other builds you'll see out there. I went with pinpoint accuracy, increased by 10. Charged focus, increases accuracy by 20 when this champion has no skills on cooldown. Has a 30% chance of increase in the turn meter by 10% when a debuff cast by this champion is removed or expires. So I went with this Arcane Celerity here instead of Rapid Response, which has a 30% chance of increase in the turn meter by 10% when a buff cast by this champion is removed or expires. Now she casts a lot more debuffs than buffs, so I felt this one would be better to go with. Swarm Smiter increases accuracy by 4 for each enemy alive, stacks up to 16. Lore of Steel increases the base stat bonuses of all artifact sets that increase base stats by 15%. This increase is multiplicative, not additive. Cycle of Magic has a 5% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 at the start of every turn, which is cool because she's got a few skills there that have longer cooldowns. Lasting Gifts has a 30% chance to extend the duration of any buff cast by this champion by 1 turn. She does increase accuracy on the team, so this gives that a chance to be increased by 1 round, 1 turn. Master Hexer has a 30% chance to extend the duration of any debuff cast by this champion by 1 turn. Will not extend stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, fear, true fear, bomb, or petrification debuffs. And she's got a couple others. And Eagle Eye, accuracy plus 50. I went also with the defense tree. Defense plus 75. Blast Proof decreases damage received from AoE attacks by 5%. Rejuvenation increases the amount of healing and value of shield buffs this champion receives by 5. So if you have any healers on your teams, this may be one you want to use. If you go into Arena and you don't have any healers, maybe that might be one you don't want to use. Has a 50% chance to remove one random debuff from this champion when they lose 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy skill. Resurgent. Now I went with Harvest Despair, which is a little different than maybe some other builds do. Has a 60% chance of placing a leech debuff for 1 turn when placing stun, sleep, fear, true fear, freeze, petrification debuffs. So you can also pick this one if you want. Delay Death reduces the damage this champion receives from a specific enemy by 0.5%, which stacks up to 6%. And then at the very end here I went with Retribution. Has a 50% chance to counterattack when this champion loses 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy skill. So the arena is open now, so let's go ahead and try some arena battles with April and see what happens. Let's go and find an opponent here. Karma Coma. Gonna go with Lazarius first. I didn't pick April first because I want to make sure she's used for this fight, and if I picked her first, maybe they would ban her. They go with Fabian and Marichka. We'll go with Queen of Hearts, and we'll put in April here now. This one looks like a game where they're selecting pretty quick. I'm going to ban Narcisse because he does a lot of damage, and he's one of them that can typically one-shot your team. give this a shot and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so they banned Lazarius, so we'll use April for our speed lead, and it's good that we now have her as our speed lead, at 28% in arena battles. All right, let's do this. Okay, they're going first, so obviously they have a good speed lead. Okay, Raglan's skills cannot be put on cooldown, so that's why she didn't get cooldown there. Okay, so I'm going to start with her A3. And it gives us an extra turn. There's no buffs on the target right now, so we'll use that one there. Queen of Hearts is on cooldown right now. Okay, what am I gonna do with her here? Gonna give a little bit of healing there. Give a big whack with Tholen. Brought him back. Right now, their Fabian put my stuff on cooldown, so got no buffs here. Okay, so he's toast. Now they mostly got just a bunch of control. Okay, so there's the nullify effect we just put on Fabian, so we'll see how that works. Go with our A3, we'll take out the Reviver. Tholna didn't attack in that one. Nope, the opponent left the battle. Couldn't get the last attack on Tholen. Alright, well, that's one arena battle won. Good stuff. I'm D4 D-Pool. Okay, so we'll just throw in an Arbiter here just for the hell of it. Just to take an Arbiter away from them if they don't have Arbiter. Okay, he goes with the Fabian. Go with Lazarius and April. Alright, I get my Lazarius. It's good. Arbiter was a bit of a decoy there. Okay, now she's starting to bring them all back here. Boom. Okay, there's a win for you. Good stuff. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching this spotlight on April O'Neil for the TMNT collab with RAID Shadow Legends. Thank you all for stopping by, and I wish you all a fantastic week ahead. Peace.